Hi everybody, it's Erin Reed for SUPERtite Glue, and today I'm going to show you about SUPERTough 360 glue and how easy this is to use with a lot of different projects. You can use this glue because it's impenetrable and waterproof, so it's a great indoor or outdoor glue that can be used with rocks, wood, metal, fabric, and plastic, plus so much more. You can buy this glue at Hobby Lobby, Joann's, and also at SUPERtite.com. So to first open up your glue, snip the top right here, a little bit of a release. There we go. And then just kind of pull it off, keep releasing out, and this will be the cap that you're gonna put on top of this. All right, next you're gonna wanna snip off the very top, and that will release the hole that opens up your glue right here at the top. And then when you're done using it, you can use this cap to completely cap the top of your glue. Some tips when using your SUPERTough 360 glue. So if you add too much glue and plop it on there, that giant amount of glue is going to take a long time to dry. So instead, add a very small bead of glue, as thin as you can possibly make it, and maybe even spread it out a tiny bit. So the thinner, the better. And the best part is this glue does not foam, so it's a non-foaming glue. As soon as you add water to it, it will activate it and foam it a little bit more. You might have a little bit of glue on the cap here, so just take a dry cloth, because if you use a wet cloth, it will cause it to foam. So a dry cloth, and just wipe it clean the nozzle off really well. Place the cap on it to keep it airtight. And the glue in your bottle will not dry out as long as you have wiped it and placed the cap back on top. All right, so let's make our project. Now, as said, this glue is awesome for outdoors, so we are gonna glue all these wood pieces together after we have painted them and create an outdoor sign. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna paint all of these. All right, so everything is all nice and dry. It is time to apply the glue. We're gonna use the SUPERTough SuperTite 360 glue. I love it because it's waterproof and it can go indoor and outdoor, and it has a great hold. So it's gonna hold even the stake that we're gonna put on the back side. A little bit's gonna do ya. The key to any good glue, and this glue specifically, is that you're gonna wanna put a very, very thin layer of glue going all the way around. So really, once you get kind of moving, it'll be good. Do not put a thick layer on. As thin as possible will do your best job for you. The drier the surface, the less foaming. If you get this damp first, it will foam. The dampness of the wood would increase the speeding and drying time of it, but it'll foam more. So I've added my layer, not thick, super thin, just enough on there. A nice good coat. Here you can see I've just added barely any on there. Thinner is better, because if you have a thinner amount of glue on your project, then you're not gonna have as much separation between the two objects. All right, so then all you're gonna do is come in and you're gonna place this as squarely as you possibly can onto your surface. There we go. Now I'm gonna go ahead and apply the glue the same way to the backside of our word. Now I have a couple spots where I got a little bit of extra glue on the backside. It kind of oozed out a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a dry cloth, and I'm going to wipe this off. Now you could use a damp cloth for this, but keep in mind if it's damp, it might foam. And then place this down exactly where you want it. Just gonna gently lay it down and then give it some firm pressure. And if you found any other spots where it was kind of popping out or oozing, then you could clean that off. Now I got a little bit of a boo-boo there, so I'm just gonna take my dry cloth before it waits too long, and I'm just gonna wipe it, and it comes off. Make sure, again, when you're done with your glue, just wipe off the tip with your dry cloth, not damp, dry cloth, and pop your lid back on there. Make sure you have a nice firm, you can hear it snap, and then you're good to go. To make sure this dries wonderfully and firm and good, and it gets good pressure, you wanna put some pressure on this. So you could get clamps and put this on here, or here's another option. You can get a couple of books and just place this on here. I've got 3 books, just a little bit of extra pressure. You just need something to make sure that everything is pushing firmly together. So it would take a good 2 hours with firm pressure or with clamps to get this to fully dry. I'm gonna give this just about 20 minutes, flip it over, and then we're gonna put the stake on there and give it over a good 2 hours to dry firmly. So give it a little bit of time before we add the backside. All right, so I've given it a little bit of time to dry. I'm gonna pull off my books, and now we're gonna flip this guy over. So I want a little bit of this to poke up out of the front. So just to quickly show you what we're aiming for here, and this is not 100% dry, not even close, but we're gonna see a little bit of the top, and then we wanna have a lot of the bottom, and this is gonna go into the ground. So now I'm gonna come in and apply a thin layer of glue. So I know I need to apply it going down between these 2 squares. This is my space right here. So again, a nice thin layer of glue along here. Do not over apply. It's about all you need to make sure it's nice, good and coated. Again, wipe this off with a dry paper towel. That's any residue that you have there. Cap it. And then I'm gonna come in and place my stake right where I need it to be so it fits perfectly. Now I misjudged my glue just a tiny bit, and if you wanted to take a dry paper towel, or it could be damp at this point, it's the backside, I'm not too worried about it, and wipe that off. But because this is the backside, I'm not worried about that. And I'm gonna reapply my books for a couple reasons. One, firm pressure. Now I've got pressure from top to here to the bottom all the way through. And then I also am balancing my stakes that will stay in place. So now, a couple hours of drying time. So I let this dry overnight, and look, it is on there. I mean, I'm shaking it, but good, and everything is super firm and super on there. Where I messed up and did my glue a little bit on the extra side, it just dried up, and it's no big deal. It did foam out a tiny bit, which means there might have been a little bit of moisture, but again, backside, not concerned about that. There are a couple spots in the front, so I'm just gonna take a little straight razor blade, and it's just right along here where I might have put a little bit of extra glue, and so as it dried and with the pressure, it kind of seeped out. So I'm just going right along the edge here, just like this, and then kind of come in, and it just cuts right off. No big deal. So you can just kind of pop that right off, and voila, it's gone. Super easy to take off. I mean, it didn't take that much work. So just a straight blade. If there's any other spots, so you can see a little spot right here. You know, it just depends on how picky you want to be. From a glance where you guys are seeing it, and from far away, and nobody's going to notice that, and this is a sign that's going in the ground. So again, nobody's going to be seeing that, so not worrying about it. But it all depends on what you want. So this is an amazing glue from SUPERtite. It's called SUPERTough 360. It's wonderful because it's waterproof. It can go outside, it can go inside. It doesn't have any cancer warnings. It is safe. It has no foam as long as you don't add water to it. Or if you want to speed up the drying time, you can add a little bit of a dampness to it, but it will foam if you do that. So it just depends on what you want to do with it. It's a great multi-purpose glue. It doesn't have any Prop 65 warnings on it, so it is awesome. And don't forget, you can get this at Joann's, Hobby Lobby, or at supertite.com.